It's pretty hard on a teenager when you have a parent who stops talking to you and one who can't look at you.
I got punched in the stomach for no particular reason.
There's a kid in our school, and he is threatened to go to every gay kid's house and gun them down.
The teachers, they pretend they don't hear it, or they just don't say anything at all.
They tell me that I've been bringing it upon myself for acting so flamboyant.
Well, I was verbally harassed like every day, and I couldn't deal with it, so I left the school and just changed schools.
There were these girls who always harassed me, and like one day, like I just went psycho.
I've been jumped a couple of times and had the crap beat out of me.
Hi, my name is Maria, and I'm undecided on my sexuality.
Hi, my name is Cade, and I'm transgendered.
Hi, my name is Gentry, and I'm queer.
Hi, my name's Tony, and I'm bisexual.
Hi, I'm Mariah, and I'm straight, and this is my twin sister.
I'm Stephanie, and I'm a lesbian.
I'm Chris, and I'm gay.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Hello, my name is Katie, and I'm a sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Hello, I'm Anthony.
Hi, my name is Jill.
Hello, I'm Preston, and I am asexual because I'm not getting laid right now.
When I first thought I was gay, I looked in the mirror, and this is the stupidest thing, and I haven't told anybody this, but I looked in the mirror and I was like, I'm gay. And I looked at myself and I stood there until I was able to be like, I'm gay.
Oh, I know of a few kids at my school who question their gender identity or are in fact transgendered or transsexual.
I identify as F to M, which means female to male.
I'm out to pretty much everybody. And if they don't know and they ask me, I'll tell them.
Yeah, I guess in 8th grade I found out like what it meant to be transgendered.
It's like a whole different field, and people actually don't realize that they associate it with sexual orientation, but it really isn't associated with that. So you're playing in a whole different field when you talk about gender.
I identify myself as straight, but in the beginning of the year, I thought maybe I could have been bisexual, which is bi-curious. So I did have a girlfriend.
I was nervous about how people would react to me coming out, and I was surprised at their reaction because everyone took it really well, and they were just happy that I finally told the truth about myself.
Even my mom knew before I even told her. She said she already knew when I was little. So.
Yes, I am. I'm out with my friends.
I decided to come out because there was nothing stopping me from doing it. I've always grown up in a very open household. Diversity has always been talked about very openly in my family and amongst friends.
In certain places, there's people that are very homophobic, and you know it. And by coming out, it just increases your risk of getting beat up or something.
Me being out and being bi and everything like that, they figure, you know, they know, oh, Preston's bi, you know. The redhead Kool-Aid man is bi, you know. And at first, it was real difficult, I guess, for people to accept that. Like, you know, a lot of people would pick on me and stuff like that and call me faggot. And
I have had problems with harassment before. Like I said, every person who does identify as GLBT probably has had a point in time where they felt harassed.
Today, like, some kids are throwing silly string in my ear and like trying to get it in my mouth and putting it all over me. And so I told them to stop, and they didn't. And so I pushed the kid away, and he punched me in my stomach.
It's frustrating when things go on but you're not comfortable enough to say anything about it, so you just have to deal with it. And that goes on a lot in middle school and high school.
I don't walk past the buses. I try not to, because otherwise kids will spit and they'll yell things. And like kids will trip me into walls, and kids will shove me into doors, and they'll just do a lot of stupid things.
These thuggish guys like wrote a note to me in class, and it was kind of like a fake love note, and they gave me their phone number.
I had a soda can thrown at me. I've had several actually, and once the get the gay girl, boom, and the soda can hits you, and you're just like, at first you're like, what just happened? And then everybody starts laughing.
It was definitely sexual harassment. Is what it was, whether they realized it or not, and it continued pretty much through the year.
This one PE teacher, he really does not like gay people. So, my freshman year, he had picked on this guy, Chris. And then, I was kind of wary about it, and then I got put in his class. So I was like, oh, crap, this isn't cool.
And then I've heard about a student in our school who got confronted by teachers, hey, are you a faggot? Is that true?
There was one kid at school. He was grabbed by the throat and pressed against the wall by a teacher because he heard that he was gay. He was like, "You better not be a fag. Get out of my class."
He grabbed me a couple of times. We were out on the track, and he pushed me down on the ground, like we were running. And part of it was provoked, yes, because my friend and I were like playing with the hurdles and stuff like that. But when he threw me down on the ground, he started calling me like queer and stuff like that. So it was like I provoked him to throw me down on the ground, but afterwards him holding me down was just so he could like verbally harass me.
And even if a teacher believes that it's unnatural, because I realize that some people believe that it's not a natural thing, they need to realize that the kids believe it's natural and that that's who they are. And even if you can't accept them, you need to, because you're a teacher and you're a role model and you're directing them, and you need to let them know that no matter who they are, you will be there for them and you won't let them be treated poorly for that.
All I wanted was to feel safe. And the only way you can feel safe is by teaching other people how wrong it is to single out a student or single out a minority group just because they're different from you and just because you can get away with it. That's all I've ever wanted to feel in school was safe.
I think homophobia is almost exactly equal to racism or sexism because it's discrimination against something that someone can't change about themselves. And I feel like the reason that there is homophobia is out of either fear or the fact that the person doesn't realize that it's not something you can change.
In school, no one will accept racism. If a kid is racist, they won't have any friends. But a kid can be homophobic and be the most popular person in school. And it shouldn't be that way.
When you hear, oh, that's so gay, it shows that there's a hatred towards gay people. And it's like, well, all these people hate me. And with hate comes hurt.
Harassment is something that's, in a way, it takes away, I guess, a part of your power as a being, as a human being. It takes it away and it belittles you.
When people pick on people for being gay and lesbian, especially when it's your twin sister, it makes you lose faith in the world. It makes you lose faith in things because, you're so young. Everything should be happy and fun, and you shouldn't have to deal with people hating you for who you are. And I'm sorry. Yeah. And she's my sister, and it's really hard.
When teachers let students get away with somebody saying, oh, you're gay, or oh, you're a fag, or oh, you're a dyke, it's like, ooh, this isn't a very comfortable place to be if you can get away with that, and I can't even get away with saying crap.
You know, if they said nigger, the teacher would look at them and be like, don't say that. But you hear faggot and dyke all the time, and no one seems to do anything.
It shouldn't be the student's responsibility to speak up for themselves in that sense and have put themselves sort of at risk of violence.
I would want teachers to just say something, at least just say something about how that's wrong.
Definitely educate other students about transgendered issues and homosexuality, and really let them know that there's really not a difference in us and them.
Get it out of your class, you know, because unless you advocate that, you know, you not stopping it is showing that you advocate it.
And the slightest thing you do will make so much of a difference. They don't realize it. If one teacher says one thing to one kid about saying the word faggot, it may feel one kid just a bit better. You're just looking for anything. You're looking for someone that is slightly showing the idea that they're okay with people who are gay.
Don't ignore things that happen around you. They're there, and if you don't do something about it, you know, maybe no one else will.
I think the greatest difficulties facing LGBT kids or LGBT youth is the heterosexism in our society, because it's not talked about in classrooms, at home, on television. I mean, as much as it seems like it's talked about a lot, it's not talked about enough.
2 girls that were kissing were sent to the office. But, like, people kiss around school all the time, and they don't do anything. Like, they're really making out, like, getting into it, like, 5 minutes more, and they'd be having sex or something. But 2 girls just kissed, and they got sent to the office.
I was told that I can't do a project about gay and lesbian teens because it might reflect upon the school and the teacher, and the school just doesn't want to look bad.
Betrayal feels like everything that you thought was there isn't.
I mean, we got people doing abortions and teen pregnancy and sex and drugs and things like that, but we're not allowed to devote most of our presentation time to gay and lesbian teens.
And no matter how little the circumstances, when you're betrayed by someone, like everything just like shatters.
There's a cultural diversity assembly, and different people, different cultural groups were going to take part in it. And it had gone on for 4 or 5 years, and this was the first year we wanted to take part in it, and then they didn't like it. They didn't think it was cultural, or it wasn't their kind of cultural diversity, so they just canceled it altogether.
Gender identity is a big deal, and at this school we had a day that student council had called Gender Bender Day, and I found that this was really, really wrong, because what it was saying to the kids, the message it was sending to the student body was that girls dress like boys and boys dress like girls on this day, but the thing about that is that there's not one way to be a girl and there's not one way to be a boy.
I was born female, and I just figured that I was a lesbian, and then I always felt like a boy, but I didn't think I had the option of changing anything. And then I finally heard about the term transgendered, and it fit.
I've always been like labeled as weird because I guess when I was, younger, they still had this stereotype girls should play with Barbies and, play dress up and all these kind of things. I went out and rode my bike and played with the guys. And
we all deserve to be equal, and we all deserve to be able to have normal lives without being harassed for whatever reason, even if it is something we can change, because we're all part of this society and we all need to treat each other equally.
the greatest difficulty that we face is acceptance. Acceptance by anybody.
Just finding somewhere where you're comfortable and people just take a liking to you no matter who you are and what you do. It's really hard.
My family's acceptance is very important to me, and I'm afraid of them not accepting me, treating me differently.
Yeah, and plus for my parents, I don't tell them everything because frankly most of what I don't tell them isn't any of their business. So I don't want them knowing everything.
I went up to my dad and I said, Dad, I think I'm bi. And he said, okay, go to your room.
I'm okay with not going to my family. You get used to it after a while. You always, like your friends can give you just as good advice as they can sometimes about certain things. Or I always think of really good outcomes for myself. So I'm okay all by myself.
Every once in a while he likes to rehash it and be like, oh, well, you know, I was thinking this the other day and I was in church and gays are wrong. You know, just like out of the blue, he likes to do that to me. And I don't know. It's kind of weird. Sometimes he can be supportive and sometimes he can't be supportive. It's like he can't make up his mind, which is probably why I can't make up my mind of, you know, whether or not I like guys or girls. You know, because my dad can't make up his mind whether or not he likes me.
I don't want my parents to find out that I go to support groups, because then in their mind it would be confirmed that I am. And then my dad would stop talking to me for 3 months like he did before.
It makes you question yourself, and I hate that more than anything in the world, because I don't like the fact that people make me wish I wasn't who I am, and I don't think it should ever happen to anyone, because the fact that things people say and things people do make me wish I wasn't me, it hurts, and people should not do that.
I just had to have something to make me feel like everybody else, feel normal for once. So I turned to the drugs and alcohol and such. It worked for a little while, but then depression set in and thoughts of suicide.
When you go to a counselor, you just don't really feel right talking to them. You don't really want to be like, well, hey, guess what? This is going on, because you're not sure if they'll tell your parents or what they'll do.
And I had written a suicide note, but I turned it into a poem. And I changed my mind, and I entered into a contest, and I got nominated for all these awards and stuff, and just showed me I had something good.
Gay people are everywhere. They're there. You may not know they're there, but they're there, I promise you. It's like, we're here and we're not going away. And there are a lot of kids out there that need someone to tell them it's okay, that need someone to look at them and be like, if you're gay, that's fine. If you're bisexual, that's fine. And a lot of kids really don't know that.
It'd be good if counselors reached out because sometimes some students, don't know how to say it for themselves. They exhibit signs, but they just don't know how to say it, or they want someone to help them say it because they're not confident enough in themselves.
I'd like to suggest to teachers, administrators, and counselors that they keep an open mind, at least during their work day. If being gay or if homosexuality or gender identity differences are something that they don't support, they need to be able to support it at least during the school day and do what's best for that student.
It takes more than tolerance. Like if a kid misbehaves a lot, you can tolerate it, but it won't stop. If you just accept it and find some way to deal with it.
Teachers can have like little upside down pink triangles in their window. I mean, that's a silent way of telling people that you're going to be safe here.
Having the sticker helps too, to let them know that you're there to talk about them and you'll accept them as they are.
You have somebody that can share their personal experiences with you to help you sort out your own feelings.
I might feel safe at school, but I know that there are many kids who don't, and I want to be able to tell administrators all over the country and even, all over the world that, they need to protect their homosexual students and transgendered students and all of the above, so.
Stand up for us sometimes. Sometimes we're too afraid. just done it for ourselves, so it'd be nice if you guys helped. You guys.
Let's see, when can I run for president? 2000 what?